This is Shauna's Avenue with the latest news. Even in death, the rift between the Hamiltons and McDonald's was apparent as the headstone on the grave of 32-year-old Tonya Hamilton McDonald, Beatrice Stout's second wife, had just her maiden name. Even the slip of the tongue by a journalist on Wednesday after the guilty verdict, mistakenly referring to Tonya's relatives as McDonald, was met with a sharp rebuke. No, McDonald, forget that name. That is no more. Done with that. Her mother, Sonia Davis Hamilton, said. Tonya, 32, was killed on July 20, 2020, and Everton Beatrice Stout McDonald, her husband, and co-accused Oscar Barnes were convicted on Wednesday after a 7-member jury returned a unanimous guilty verdict after 64 minutes of deliberation. The men were both charged with murder and conspiracy to murder and will be sentenced on May 16. McDonald, Tonya's marital name, which was used on occasions while she was alive and documented on several business titles as seen by our news team back in 2021, was omitted from the gravestone. She was buried beside her father at a cemetery in St. Mary, where they are from. The news found the graves after we were directed by a person who attended Tonya's funeral. Davis Hamilton, speaking with journalists on Wednesday, said publicly that McDonald was responsible for the murder of her husband and that she was also shot and left for dead during the incident. However, residents of Portland with whom our news team spoke during an investigation in the parish in 2021 were frank in their response to the death of Tonya. One resident told the news that the first wife, Petal, shouldn't dead. None of them shouldn't dead. But you see, licky, money is the root of all evil. The resident who knew the parties well alleged that from Tonya was attending high school, she and the businessman were an item. From she going Titchfield High School, she and Beachy a friend, and because of money, she didn't even need education again. She had drive a school, the resident told the news. It was disclosed during the trial that McDonald showered her with gifts and that included cell phone and jewelry. Some community folk went as far as stating that Tonya knew that it was Beatrice Stout who killed Petal, for which he was charged years later, outlining that Tonya even visited the crime scene on May 2, 2009. Tonya was found dead on July 20, 2020, and Beatrice Stout was arrested a month later. The contracted killer, Devlin Bobler Minot, detailed in the Home Circuit Court how he lured Tonya to a deserted road along Sherwood Forest in the parish and watched as the man he subcontracted, Barnes, stabbed her repeatedly. Minot, 46, pleaded guilty to murder for his role in the killing. He will serve 10 of the 19-year sentence before he becomes eligible for parole. The news during the special investigation was told by other residents that in their estimation, Tonya did not have to die, as she was not a threat to McDonald's wealth. Prosecutors concluded that McDonald wanted Tonya dead because he believed she was giving him bun, as Deputy Director of Public Prosecution Sophia Rowe said in her closing arguments recently. This girl here couldn't touch Beachy with him asset. The first wife has that power to make him walk on Port Antonio Street and make him talk to himself, mad out. The residents told the news that fear was instilled in Portland people as accused had field workers working for him. After him killed Tonya, him sent out whole heap of hitmen in the street to question you like police just for hear you say anything bad. And a normal man, powerful and dangerous, and have a lot of cruel people that work with him, a resident told the news. Tonia's partially burnt body was found with her throat slashed and 9 stab wounds outside the shell of her burnt Toyota Axio car in Sherwood Forest, Portland. According to court documents, $3 million was the contracted price for the hit, and it was also stated that instructions were clear on how the killing should be done. The hitmen were instructed not to use a gun. McDonald's first wife, Marlene, was shot and killed in similar contractual arrangements after she moved out the marital home and was filing for divorce. Beachy Stout is to stand trial next year for Marlene's 2009 murder.
Something you must have in order to live.
A man.
One of the 7 wonders of the world.
A rich man.
Something that improves with age.
A young man.
A Christmas present you'd exchange.
Oh, man.
In 2007, she met a man by the name of Everton Beachy Stout McDonald, and he was relentless in pursuing her, even though he was married at the time. He was 52 years old and she was 19.
What a fox!
Tanya unknowingly delivers cash to the contract killer for her own murder. According to Denvalin, after Beachy hired him to kill his wife Tanya, he couldn't kill her himself because he was also having an affair with her. So the 56-year-old Denvalin Minot subcontracted 30-year-old Oscar Barnes to do it.
Portland businessman Everton McDonald, who is charged with the murder of his first wife Marlene more than a decade ago, paid a policeman to orchestrate the killing. Mr. McDonald, who is also charged with the killing of his second wife Tanya, appeared in court via video conferencing from the Horizon Adult Remand Center.
When the matter was called up in the Home Circuit Court this morning, the prosecutor disclosed that Mr. McDonald allegedly had Marlene killed because their marriage broke down in 2007, after which she moved out of the matrimonial home.